Hey guys, Marmalade here for episode 13 of What I've Learned on the PCT. And does the surroundings look a little different? That's because I'm on the PCT. Today is March 7th, 2023. I'm doing a quick overnight trip on the PCT to test out my new tarp. I think you can see it back there, and my new air mattress and some other things. And just to get out, you can always find a reason or excuse to get out on the PCT. So I have four more good questions, wrote them down. No way to memorize them, but I definitely wanted to give people credit when they do give me a question. So please, we're looking for more questions. We got enough for another couple of videos, and that's it. So I would love for more questions from you, and I'll give you credit if you want when you ask it. So the first one is from Cheryl C. And she asked how to get in shape on a long distance section or through hike. So it's funny because I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but for the particular sport of hiking, I don't think there's any better way than to hike. I also think, if you live somewhere where the winter's really bad and you can't get outside, or you can't maybe simulate elevation, things like that, you live in a flatter area, the gym is a great thing. You could do Stairmaster, the treadmill, elliptical, things like that. I think it's also good when you're hiking to tone up. You don't need maybe get weights and do lighter weights and more reps to get strong. The tendency is when you do a really long hike, like a through hike, obviously you lose a lot of weight, you lean down, but for most of us, our upper body kind of will slowly waste away. Any muscle we may have kind of goes away because except for using your poles and maybe putting your tent up, you're not really using your upper body for much. So, but it's good to get, in cardiovascular shape, but maybe do Stairmaster, something where when you show up on trail, you're ready to go. And the other thing I'll tell you is that a big mistake a lot of people make, especially when they're doing a long section, is they may go hike, but they just wear their day pack or they wear nothing. And I've said this over and over again, but I'll keep saying it is, maybe you start with your day pack. If you've got months before you're doing your through hike, or you're going to do the Colorado Trail and you're going to do it a year from now, you don't have to necessarily get in your pack yet full of gear. But you can start with your day pack, add some more weight. You could add things that are heavy, some water and food, things like that. Then you definitely want to have your full pack on your back for a few 2 or 3 months before you start your through hike, so that and that what I also would do is just build slowly. Put some clothes in there and maybe snacks and some water, and then slowly as you get more miles, you get more accustomed to your full size backpack. Then throw in your cook kit, then some more clothes, and then your air mattress and your tent and all that stuff, and get to the point where your full pack is on your body every time you go out and hike. And then, if there's a predetermined minimum amount of miles you want to do, like 10 miles a day or whatever it is, make sure that you can do it easily and comfortably the time you get on the trail. I did that on my through hike in 19. I had done thousands of miles, but only on weekend trips. But when I started my through hike, it didn't even feel like a through hike for a couple of 300 miles because I just did it all the time. And I saw a lot of people on trail that were struggling, and they found out once they got on trail their pack didn't fit right, or this hurt or that hurt, and that's all the stuff you fish out before you get on trail. So anyway, I know it's kind of a long answer, but I hope that helps. All right, number 2 is from Jeff from the Van Flossen family. I took an ultralight camp chair with me on a 10-day wilderness backpacking trip in New Mexico several years ago. I really enjoyed having it, and everybody wanted to borrow it. It's certainly a luxury item, but do you think it's worth taking along the PCT or JMT, or is it a waste of weight? So I think when it comes to luxury items, it's hard for me to tell you. I mean, I'm going to give you my opinion, but it's hard for me to say like a definite, you should or shouldn't, because that's all personal. I have some friends that a couple years ago did the JMT and they brought their chairs all the way along, and that's very high elevation. And if you've done it, a hard trail, and they were so glad by the end of every hard day they had it, and people they were just so jealous of them and they wanted to borrow it. So maybe the JMT and shorter hikes and weekend hikes you bring it. That's what I do. I actually didn't bring it this time. I wanted to go lighter and see what it felt like, because that's where I'm graduating towards. But I bring my ultralight. It's a 1 pound. I have the Helinox Chair Zero. I bring it all the time. You've seen me with it on these shorter trips. So I would never say don't do it. I actually really enjoy mine. But like when I get on the PCT this year, or some other things I want to do, or longer trails, I will not bring it. It's just it's physical space and weight and things like that. It's hard for me too. Like I'm sitting on a short log and I'm tall, so it's not comfortable right now. But I actually didn't even bring my Z-seat pad for the log. I should have done that. But yeah, so I think to answer your question, it's up to you. I think for a whole through hike of like the PCT, AT, or the CDT, it's probably not necessary. It's just you're not going to get. When you through hike too, there's something you don't really think about. But when you do shorter hikes like JMT or shorter hikes, you do typically less miles, and you have more time at camp to relax. But in through hiking, you know, I've graduated where I'm hiking 10, 12 hours a day. When I get to camp, I mean, yes, it would be nice to have a chair, but really, honestly, I sit down and force some food down, and then I go lay down. I just want to get my body weight off my feet. And so I find that, you know, maybe it's because I don't have the chair with me, but I find that I wouldn't really use the chair very much even if I had it on the normal through hiking days. All right, number 3 is Rick Bernst. Can you share what editing software you use for your videos? They look great. Thank you, by the way. So I could say that what I use I've mastered, but I'm technically challenged. Anybody who knows me knows I'm very technically challenged, or maybe I'm just intimidated by it. So since I've started this, I just passed 600 total videos on my channel, and my first ones were horrible. And I'm not saying that because I'm being critical. They were horrible. But I didn't know what I was doing, but I was excited about it, and so I just put them out. But to answer your question, in the interest of a few things, to make it easier for me, especially on trail if I'm doing a long hike, you know, when I get in my tent at night, I'm really tired. Most people get to go to bed. I'm editing videos. And then I get into towns when people are resting and doing a zero. I'm trying to find Wi-Fi or go to the coffee shop, and it might take 4 hours to upload one video, and I've got 6 of them and all that stuff. And so it's practically a full-time job, and especially on my videos for PCT, I did a daily one. I won't be doing that on any other long hike, but for this one I did a daily one. I think I'm up to 122 days on trail, so 122 plus videos, because I've done some that like on rest days and getting ready to get back on trail videos and things like that don't have anything to do with being on the trail. So I just use my iPhone. I just upgraded to an iPhone 14, which I'm loving. Has some features that I didn't have before on the old one. And I just use iMovie. And the reason mainly is, you know, someday I'll probably learn how to be able to transfer data and maybe get a GoPro or a drone, things like that. But I don't want to have to use other devices to film with and then put them back on my phone. I know it's not that hard, but I just don't want to mess with it and carry all the things that go with it. So for me, it just makes sense to film with my iPhone, and then I open up iMovie, upload the pictures or video for that day into a blank or brand new video and edit it, and I can do it fast and add some music and get it out. So yeah, I have an iPhone and I use iMovie. All right, the last question is from the hiking chick. How much cash did you carry on your long section hikes or through hike attempt? Also, how much should we tip people that help us on the trail, like trail angels, people who give us hitches, or even for water caches? It's a great question because this is very subjective, right? It's like, that's why we don't all tip the same when you go to a restaurant. So to answer your question, there's a couple things that I learned. So if you're doing like a through hike, I think it's different for a shorter section, or you're going to do like section A or B. I think you just bring some cash in your debit and, you know, maybe your ID or something. But really, when I'm doing, I'll give you the answer. So that's what I bring for a shorter one. But for through hiking or doing long sections for months or hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, I do a few things. I bring about, and I'll explain why. I bring about $200 or $300. I bring my debit card. I bring my ID. Things like that. I don't bring credit cards, I just bring a debit card and $200 or $300. And the reason why is, and somebody helped me when I was first trying to figure this out myself, and we go through a lot of really small podunk towns, and it's nothing personal, I love them. They're probably better than most of the towns that I live around now, but you know, they're very small, and weather can get to them, or they can have power shortages. So let's say you go in town and you don't have much cash on you, but you have a debit card. You go in there and all of a sudden now they can't, none of their machines are, let's say they're broken and they have no Wi-Fi or connection to do your credit card or your debit card. Now you have no way of getting a resupply, no way to get a hotel, no way to do anything. So I think you need those things because 99% of the time you're going to be fine with a card. But I think it's good to carry enough cash so if you get into town, you can get a hotel and get a resupply and get a meal. So obviously you can do it cheaper and expensive depending on what you like doing. But so if you carry $200 or $300, it should cover a $100 night at a hotel if you need one, or motel. You know, it could be $50 to $75 or more for a resupply, and then getting food to eat in town like a burger or pizza or whatever. So I would carry that much cash. And then the other thing I did was somebody suggested, I went into like a grocery store and I got it's not a debit card, but it looks just like a debit card, and I put like $200 on it, and you give it a pin. And the main reason for that is, you know, this has actually happened to me, but I didn't have the cash card time. But when you travel, have you ever know sometimes that your banks will annoyingly block your credit card or your debit card because you're way out of where you live. I go into my bank, by the way, if this helps, if you're doing a through hike, I go to my bank and I let them know the dates I'm hiking and the route I'm traveling, some of the towns I'll hit, so they know it's me every year. But so if you have one of those cards with it's just got cash on it, it's not even a debit card, it's just like using cash, but you just put it in the machine and you can use it at grocery stores and hotels and things like that. But yeah, like if your bank blocks you or goes down, I've had my bank system just go down. You know, I've gone on there to try to use my card and it's down, and I go on the app and it's not working. So if they have a technical glitch and it's not even the fault of the town or the small town or a hotel or a store, maybe a cash card will work for you too. Just have multiple ways to do it. When you get back from trail, you can use it up on other things, you know, if you want to, groceries or whatever. So yeah, anyway, great question. You know, I know it's a touchy subject because some people don't want to advertise what they carry, you know, they don't want to be robbed, let's say, but that's just an idea. You can carry more or less, whatever. On that last question, I totally forgot the last part of the question, and I finished the video, got up, got my jacket because it's getting cold. I forgot to answer the last part, which is tipping. So it's very subjective, like I said, like restaurants, but I think you should understand that these people don't have to do it. You want to always offer. At water caches, I usually put a couple dollars to $5, depends kind of how much. Usually, it doesn't really. I was going to say it depends how much I take, but that's not true. Tipping trail agents, people that give you rides, you know, just kind of that's subjective too. If you know they're going to give you a 30 miles, some hitches are. When I went from Walker Pass to Ridgecrest, it was 25-mile hitch, and I offered, they didn't take it, but you know, that might be $5 or $10, but you know, just I think be fair, put yourself in their place. They don't have to do it. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I've had anybody actually take the money. Now, when I broke my ankle my first year and I decided to get off trail at Stevens Pass and get in, I called a friend and she drove like 2 hours to come get me, and she wasn't going to charge me, but she didn't have a lot of money. I already knew it, and she just wanted to help me out as a friend, and then drive 2 hours picking her up, and then 3 more hours to Seattle, and then that 5 hours home. So I definitely gave her a bunch of gas money because you know, she didn't ask for it, but and she took it because I knew she needed it, and she was probably hurting. You don't know when people pick you up, even if they're going that way, that $5 or $10 you give them may you know, a big difference to them. So, and also when you don't tip, and maybe they were needing the money for gas, things like that, when you don't do that, then they're less likely to help other hikers. So just think about it. You know, you're paying it, you're showing your appreciation, but it's also going to pay it forward for other hikers so that they'll keep doing it. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Great questions. We're looking for more questions, like I said, so please give me some more questions. Anything you want to know. It doesn't have to be specifically about the PCT, but it could be about the sport of backpacking, which you can do on the PCT or not, things like that. It is March 7th. I look for a video in the next few months. I don't know yet because of this heavy snow, but I will be making videos, or a video on my plans for this summer, whether it's PCT, somewhere else. It's going to depend on the snow melt and where it is or isn't, and whether I do it all, some of it, part of it, or somewhere else that I have planned or thinking about. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support the channel, every single cent you give me goes in a separate account, savings account, specifically for my hike. Sometimes I buy gear, sometimes it's just purely so that I have enough finances to get on trail and to cover my bills. I work 2 jobs to also save for that, so I do most of it, you know, 99% of it. But if you'd like to help support my hiking, there's ways to do it down in the description box below. One way is you can go to PayPal and just do a one-time donation. That's a great way to do it. If you like to become a patron on my Patreon page, you get original content, but that's really fun. You get any questions you ask there at all, first dibs. If you want me to make a video for you on a topic, I'll make one there just specifically for you. So you guys come first, and if you have ideas for videos, if I think it's pertinent, I'll definitely make it. You guys have first choice on anything like that. So you can go on there. It's just look for Marmalade Outdoors, and you know, my Instagram is Marmalade Outdoors. And so if you just go to the description box, there's lots of ways to do that. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and again, some questions. And that's it. I think that's it. It is getting chilly here, and it is about, what time is it? 4:44. I'm going to have some, it gets dark about 6 now, but it's getting cold. It's supposed to be freezing tonight, so I am going to eat dinner. And although I'm starting to go to cold soak now and no cook, I brought my stove tonight. It's going to be cold, so I have a dehydrated meal that I haven't eaten, so I'm going to eat tonight. And that is it. Thanks for watching, and we'll definitely see you down the trail.